I developed this payment framework entirely on my own.
I almost laughed. That was my mother-in-law, sitting in my interview room, at my company, presenting my stolen work to my team, and she had no idea I was listening. Cassie Hartley, the woman who threw my suitcase onto her driveway at 2 in the morning and told the neighbors I was a thief. That was 2 years ago. She made sure no one in this industry would touch me. She took my name, my work, my marriage, all of it. Now she was 3 feet away from me, reading my words out loud and calling them hers. She looked up, smiled, and said,
Nice to meet you.
She didn't recognize me. I didn't correct her. What would you do if the person who took everything from you didn't even remember your face?
Before we begin, please subscribe and like. It really helps. Wishing you health and happiness. Alright, let's begin.
Chapter 2. In the morning. 2 years earlier, I was standing in Cassie Hartley's kitchen, drying her dishes. Thanksgiving, Short Hills, New Jersey. The Hartley house smelled like cinnamon and money. 23 family members around a table I wasn't allowed to set. Cassie had rules. Her house, her plates, her seating chart. I could cook, I could clean, but I couldn't sit at the head of the table. That seat was for real Hartleys. I'd been married to her son Ethan for 3 years. 3 Thanksgivings. 3 years of drying her dishes while she sipped wine in the other room. That night, I made the mistake of speaking. Cassie was showing everyone her new charity project, a payment system for low-income families. She'd printed a fancy brochure. She held it up like she'd built the thing herself. My stomach dropped. The cover page, the layout, the flow chart on page 3. I knew that flow chart. I'd drawn it on my laptop 2 months ago. I turned to Ethan. He was cutting his pie. That's my proposal. I kept my voice low. Ethan, look at the cover. That's my document. He didn't look up. His fork scraped across the plate. Mom probably just got inspired by your idea. Don't make a scene. Don't make a scene. I walked into the living room. Cassie was explaining my payment framework to her sister-in-law like she invented the wheel, using my words, my structure, my numbers. Cassie, my voice was shaking. That's my work. I wrote that proposal. The room went quiet. Forks stopped. Ice clinked in someone's glass. Cassie tilted her head. She looked at me the way you look at a child who just interrupted adults. Sweetheart, she set down her wine. I've been developing this with the charity board for 6 months. If you think a few similar ideas make it yours, well, she laughed softly. That's a little embarrassing. Her sister-in-law looked away. Her brother covered a smirk with his napkin. I turned to Ethan. He was still in the kitchen doorway, hands in his pockets, eyes on the floor. He said nothing. Cassie stepped closer, close enough that only I could hear her. The perfume was sharp. Gardenias. Lena, I'm going to be honest with you. Her smile didn't move. You're a sweet girl, but you don't belong at this table. You never did. You can't afford this family, and pretending you can is just sad. I felt my throat close. Now, she straightened her pearl necklace. I think it's time you stopped embarrassing my son. 2 hours later, my suitcase was on the driveway. It was 2 in the morning, November, New Jersey cold. Ethan stood at the front door. He didn't come outside. Just stay at a hotel tonight, he called out. I'll talk to Mom in the morning. She'll calm down. The door closed. I sat on the suitcase for 11 minutes. I know because I counted. The sprinklers came on. The neighbor's porch light turned off. A dog barked twice and stopped. My laptop was still inside. 7 pages of work that had taken me 4 months. I never saw it again. By morning, Cassie had already called everyone who mattered. My old boss, 2 investors I'd been pitching, even a professor who'd written me a recommendation. The story was always the same. Poor Lena tried to claim my charity work as hers. We had to ask her to leave. It was so upsetting. My phone stopped ringing within a week. Not because people forgot me, because Cassie made sure they remembered her version. Chapter 3. A folding table. My cousin Rosa lived in a 1-bedroom apartment in Union City. Her couch was brown, the cushions were flat, and the kitchen smelled like cilantro no matter what time of day. That couch became my bed for 4 months. The first 2 weeks, I didn't get up. I stared at the ceiling. Rosa would leave rice and beans on the counter before work, and I'd eat them cold at midnight. I'd open job boards on Rosa's laptop, type my name, watch the screen load. Nothing. No callbacks. No emails. Nothing. I tried calling my old contacts, left voicemails, sent follow-ups, polite ones, professional ones, desperate ones. One recruiter finally told me the truth. Her name was Dana, and she whispered like she was scared someone might hear. "Lena, I'm going to be straight with you. Cassie Hartley has been calling people. She's saying you stole proprietary documents and that you're a liability. I'm sorry. I can't submit your resume." I sat on the bathroom floor after that call. The faucet was dripping. Every drop sounded louder than the last. My work, my 4 months of research, my framework. And Cassie had flipped the story so perfectly that I was the thief and she was the victim. I wanted to scream. I wanted to call a lawyer. I wanted to fly back to Short Hills and pound on that door until someone listened. But I had $400 in my checking account, and no one who would believe me. Rosa came home that night with a folding table from the dollar store. Metal legs, plastic top, wobbly on one side. She set it up next to the couch and put her old laptop on it. "You're not dead," she said, "so stop acting like it. Build something. Build it better." I stared at the table. The laptop had a crack down the middle of the screen. I opened a blank document, and I started writing. Not the same proposal. Something bigger. A full payment platform for underbanked communities. The thing Cassie couldn't steal because it didn't exist yet. I worked 16-hour days. No office. No team. No investors. Just Rosa's Wi-Fi and that folding table. 6 months later, I had a prototype. 9 months later, a working beta. A year in, I had 3 clients and a real office 2 rooms above a dry cleaner in Hoboken. I hired Maya Rodriguez on a Tuesday. She walked in, looked around the tiny office, and said, "Where's the rest of it?" "This is it," I told her. She sat down anyway. She became my HR director, my conscience, my brake pedal. By year 2, NovaPay had 47 employees, a series around closed, and a reputation that was growing faster than our server capacity. I was the COO. The name on the filings was Lena Morales. My name before Ethan, before the Hartleys, before all of it. Nobody in the industry connected Lena Morales to Lena Hartley, including Cassie. I thought about her every single day, not with sadness, with patience. Then one Monday morning, Maya knocked on my door. "We got a senior strategist application," she said. "Came through the normal channel, blind resume per policy. But," she paused, "the portfolio attached is interesting." She slid the folder across my desk. I opened it. Page 1. A payment framework for underbanked communities. 7 pages. My handwriting style, my formatting, my flowchart on page 3. And in the corner, a small logo Hartley Philanthropy Initiative. My hands went cold. "The applicant's name is redacted," Maya said. "Blind process. You know the rules." I closed the folder. "Run it by the book," I said. "Every step. No exceptions." Maya nodded and left. I sat at my desk for a long time after that. The air conditioner hummed. My coffee went cold. I knew exactly who it was. Chapter 4 Behind the Glass. Interview day. I told Maya I would observe, not interview. Just watch through the glass. "You sure?" Maya raised an eyebrow. "You don't have to be in the building." "I'm sure." The interview room at NovaPay had a one-way mirror on the west wall, standard for panel assessments. The candidate sees their own reflection. The observer sees everything. I stood behind that glass with my arms crossed and waited. At 9:15, the door opened. Cassie Hartley walked in wearing a cream blazer and pearl earrings. Her hair was shorter than I remembered, blonder. She carried a leather folder like a shield. She smiled at the 3-person panel: Maya, our CTO James, and a junior analyst named Priya, like she was about to give them a gift. "Thank you so much for the opportunity," Cassie said. She placed the folder on the table and opened it. My 7 pages stared back at me from across the room. For 30 minutes, Cassie Hartley presented my stolen work. She talked about her framework, her methodology, her vision for financial inclusion. She used words I had written at 3 in the morning on Rose's cracked laptop. She drew diagrams I had sketched on napkins at a diner in Union City. And she was good. That's what made it worse. She had rehearsed. She had memorized. She spoke with the confidence of someone who genuinely believed the lie. Maya took notes without expression. James asked technical follow-ups. Priya typed silently. Then Maya leaned forward. Can you walk us through the original development process? Specifically, what tools you used to build the payment flow on page 3? Cassie paused. Just half a second. Then she recovered. I used a combination of internal research and interviews with community leaders. The framework evolved organically over about 6 months. And the document metadata, Maya continued. Our system flagged that the original file was created on a different device. Can you explain that? The air in the room shifted. Cassie's smile stayed, but her fingers pressed into the table edge. I work across multiple devices, she said. Laptop, tablet, my daughter-in-law's different family computers. My daughter-in-law's. She caught herself, but it was too late. Maya wrote something down. James looked up from his notes. Cassie pushed through the rest of the interview like nothing happened. She thanked the panel. She shook hands. She gathered her folder. On the way out, Maya opened the door. I was standing right there. Oh, Cassie said. She looked at me, looked through me, extended her hand. Nice to meet you. Thank you for having me. I shook her hand. Her palm was damp. Of course, I said. We'll be in touch. She walked down the hallway. Her heels clicked against the tile. She didn't look back. Maya closed the door and turned to me. She said my daughter-in-law's computer. I heard. That's not proof, but it's a thread. I nodded. Pull the thread. Chapter 5 The Unraveling. Cassie called Ethan within an hour. I know because Ethan called me. The first time in 8 months. What the hell are you doing? His voice was tight. Hi. The voice he used when his mother was in the room. I'm not doing anything, Ethan. Mom says she went to a job interview and you were there. She says you set her up. The air conditioner in my office clicked on. Cool air hit the back of my neck. She applied to my company, I said. Through the normal process. I didn't invite her. Your company? Since when do you? He stopped. You didn't know. I almost felt sorry for him. Almost. Silence. Then his voice dropped. Lena, whatever happened between you and Mom, that's family stuff. Don't drag it into work. Just reject her application and move on. She submitted my stolen proposal as her portfolio. Ethan, my work. The one that disappeared the night your mother threw me out. More silence. The kind that sounds like a door closing. That's. Mom wouldn't do that. She did. You don't have proof. Actually, I do. File metadata. Edit history. Original creation date. Your mother's version was copied 14 days after I was kicked out. From a device registered to the Hartley home network. He didn't respond for a long time. Please don't do this. His voice cracked. She's my mom. She's a thief. Ethan. And she called me one. I hung up. That night, I sat in my dark kitchen. The fridge hummed. A car alarm went off somewhere down the block and stopped. I opened my phone. Ethan had texted, "You'll regret this." I put the phone face down on the counter. I didn't eat. I didn't cry. I just sat there, in the dark, listening to the fridge. Because here's what nobody tells you about revenge. When it's close enough to touch, it doesn't feel like victory. It feels like standing at the edge of a cliff in the dark, and you can't tell if you're about to fly or fall. Chapter 6 The Pack. Cassie was a professional victim. I knew that, but I underestimated how fast she could work. Within 3 days, my phone buzzed with messages from people I hadn't heard from in 2 years. Ethan's Aunt Linda sent a text. "I hear you're trying to humiliate Cassie at your little company. Shame on you." His cousin Tyler posted on Facebook. Didn't use my name, but the message was clear: some people can't move on. They'd rather destroy a good woman than admit they were the problem. Then came the family group chat. Someone added me back just so I could read the messages. Ethan's sister Brooke typed first. Mom is devastated. She's been crying all day. Lena is using her job to punish our family. Then Linda again. Cassie gave everything to that girl, welcomed her into our home, and this is how she repays us. I read every message. My chest felt like someone was sitting on it. Rosa called that night. You okay? I'm fine. You're not fine. I can hear it. She was right. I wasn't fine. Because the worst part wasn't the family chat. The worst part was what happened at work. Someone I never found out who told Noah Kim, our CFO, that I had a personal vendetta against a job candidate. Noah pulled me into his office on Wednesday morning. Lena, he closed the door. I need you to tell me this isn't what it looks like. What does it look like? It looks like our COO is using the hiring process to settle a score with her ex-mother-in-law. And if that story hits the press before our IPO, he didn't finish. I sat in that chair and felt the walls move closer. I followed every rule. Noah, blind process, panel interview. I didn't ask a single question, but you observed, through a one-way mirror, which is standard protocol. He leaned back, rubbed his eyes. I believe you, but believing you and protecting this company are two different things. After that meeting, I noticed things, small things. My name was missing from a strategy email chain. A board prep meeting got moved without telling me. Priya from the interview panel stopped making eye contact in the hallway. I was being quietly pushed to the edges. At home, if you could call my apartment home, I ate instant ramen on the couch and stared at the wall. The same couch position, the same cold food, the same silence, just like Rosa's apartment 2 years ago, except this time, I had a company, I had proof, I had everything I needed, and somehow, I still felt like I was sitting on that suitcase on the driveway at 2 in the morning. My phone lit up, a text from Ethan. Mom is having chest pains. I hope you're happy. I turned the phone off. Chapter 7 The Paper Trail. Maya Rodriguez did not play games. Tuesday morning, she walked into my office, closed the door, and set a folder on my desk. Not a thin folder, a thick one. The kind that makes a sound when it lands. This isn't just a hiring issue anymore, she said. This is an ethics case. She sat down and opened the folder. I pulled the cloud backup logs from the original file. Your proposal was created on March 15, 2 years ago, on a device registered to Lena Morales. The last edit was made on March 28. She flipped to the next page. Cassie's version, the one in her portfolio, was created on April 12, 14 days after your Thanksgiving incident. The device? A laptop registered to the Hartley Home Network. The file was accessed, copied, and modified. But here's the thing. Maya pointed at a highlighted line. She didn't even change the font. Same typeface, same headers, same chart formatting down to the color codes. She changed the title page and the author name. That's it. I stared at the page. The highlighted line blurred. There's more. Maya's voice was steady. Careful. I made a call to the Hartley Philanthropy Initiative. As part of a routine vendor check. She paused. Lena, there is no Hartley Philanthropy Initiative. It's not a registered nonprofit. It's not a foundation. It's a name on a website with no tax filings, no board of directors, and no financial disclosures. My stomach twisted. The charity gala where Cassie presented your framework. She charged sponsors $40,000 for table placements. That money went into a personal account. I pushed my chair back. The wheels squeaked on the floor. How much? Over 2 years. Based on what I can see, at least $120,000 moved through accounts tied to her name. No charitable disbursements. No grant records. Nothing. I thought about Cassie standing in her living room, holding that brochure, telling 23 family members how she was helping the underbanked. I thought about her pearl necklace, her cream blazer, her confidence, all funded by donations that never went anywhere. And my stolen proposal was the brochure. Maya closed the folder. I've already looped in legal, and I talked to Noah. Noah wants this buried. Noah wanted it buried. Past tense. She leaned forward. I showed him the fake nonprofit, showed him the money trail, showed him what happens if we hire someone who committed fraud and it comes out after the IPO. What did he say? He said, handle it by the book, and make sure we're the ones who tell the story, not her. I looked at the folder on my desk. 2 years of my life sat inside it. The stolen nights, the cold ramen, the phone calls no one returned, all of it, documented in timestamps and file logs. The charity gala, I said. Nova Pay is sponsoring the next one. Maya nodded slowly. The annual FinTech Philanthropy Showcase. 3 weeks out. Cassie is listed as a featured speaker. She's going to present my framework again. Yes, on our stage, with our logo behind her. Maya waited. Let her, I said. Chapter 8 Gardenias. 2 weeks before the gala, Cassie showed up at my office. No appointment, no warning. She walked past the front desk like she still owned the world and asked to see the head of operations. Our receptionist, Danny, buzzed me. There's a Cassie Hartley here. She says it's personal. I let her wait 11 minutes. The same 11 minutes I'd sat on that suitcase. When I finally came out, she was standing by the window. Cream blazer, pearl earrings, same perfume. Gardenias. Lena. She said my name like she was trying it on for the first time. I'm so glad you have a moment. I didn't sit. I didn't offer her coffee. I stood with my arms at my sides and waited. I've been thinking. Cassie pressed her hands together. About everything. The way things ended between us, it wasn't right. I was going through a difficult time. The divorce from Richard, the financial stress, the pressure of keeping up appearances. She paused, waited for me to say something soft, something forgiving. I didn't. I'd love it if we could start fresh. Her voice went higher, gentler, the voice she used at charity events. We're still family, in a way. Ethan still cares about you, and I think there's room for healing. The air conditioner hummed behind me. I could hear Danny typing at the front desk. Cassie. I kept my voice even. Are you here about the job? Her smile flickered, just a flash. Then it was back. Well, that too. I mean, it's been weeks since the interview. I haven't heard anything. I just thought maybe I could. She touched her necklace. Check in. The process is still ongoing. HR will contact you when there's a decision. Of course, of course. She nodded too many times. I just wanted you to know no hard feelings. About the past, about any of it. No hard feelings. I thought about the driveway, the suitcase, the sprinklers, the 11 minutes, the recruiter whispering on the phone, the $400, the folding table, the cold ramen, the 2 years of silence. No hard feelings. Is there anything else? I asked. Cassie reached into her bag. She pulled out a small box wrapped in gold paper. I brought you something, just a little a peace offering. She held it out. Her hands were trembling, barely, but enough to notice. I looked at the box. I didn't take it. That's very kind, I said, but I can't accept gifts from candidates in our hiring process. Company policy. Her hand hung in the air for 3 seconds. Then she pulled it back and put the box in her bag. Right, of course. Silly of me. She gathered herself, straightened her blazer, put on the smile again. Well, I should go. It was lovely to see you, Lena. She turned and walked toward the elevator. Her heels clicked, slower than before, softer. Just before the doors closed, she looked back. For 1 second, I saw something I'd never seen on Cassie Hartley's face. Fear. The doors closed. The gardenia smell lingered in the hallway. Maya appeared beside me. You okay? Pull the gala speaker schedule, I said. I want to see exactly when she goes on stage. Chapter 9 The Stage. The annual FinTech Philanthropy Showcase. Downtown Manhattan. The Grand Atrium at Hudson Yards. 600 guests. 300 watching the live stream. Nova Pay's logo projected 20 feet tall on the back wall. This was Cassie's favorite kind of room. Crystal glasses, name tags with titles, people who smiled at you because of who you knew. She arrived early, I watched from the second-floor balcony as she worked the crowd. Handshakes, air kisses, the laugh she used when she wanted people to think she was humble. She wore a navy dress, new pearls, bigger than the old ones. She held a glass of champagne like it was medicine. At 7:30, Cassie took the stage. The spotlight hit her face. She smiled at 600 people. Behind her, a projection screen glowed white, waiting for her slides. "Good evening, everyone." Her voice was steady, warm, practiced. "I'm Cassie Hartley, founder of the Hartley Philanthropy Initiative. And tonight, I want to share with you a framework that I believe will transform how we serve underbanked communities." She clicked the remote. My flowchart appeared on the screen. Page 3, the one I'd drawn at Rose's kitchen table. "I developed this model over the past 3 years," Cassie said, "starting with grassroots interviews and community research. Every data point, every pathway built from the ground up." She was beautiful up there, confident, convincing. If I didn't know the truth, I would have believed her. She got through 4 slides. 5. The audience was nodding. A woman in the front row was taking notes. Then the screen changed. Cassie didn't click anything. She looked at the screen, confused. A document appeared. Side-by-side comparison. On the left, original file created March 15, by Lena Morales, device personal laptop. On the right, copied file created April 12, by Hartley Home Network, device shared desktop. Same words, same charts, same formatting, same color codes, 2 different dates, 2 different names. The room went quiet. Cassie stared at the screen. Her hand with the remote dropped to her side. Noah Kim stepped up to a podium on the right side of the stage. He adjusted the microphone. "Good evening, I'm Noah Kim, CFO of NovaPay, tonight's primary sponsor." His voice was calm, corporate, the kind of calm that's scarier than shouting. "As part of our commitment to transparency, we conducted a routine audit of all featured speakers and partner organizations." He clicked to the next slide. The Hartley Philanthropy Initiative website appeared. Next to it, a screenshot from the IRS nonprofit database. "No results found." "The Hartley Philanthropy Initiative is not a registered nonprofit," Noah continued. "It has no tax-exempt status, no board of directors, and no public financial disclosures." Murmuring started, low at first, then louder. The next slide showed a simplified financial summary. Money in from gala sponsors. Money out to a personal account. No charitable distributions. Over the past 2 years, approximately $120,000 in sponsor contributions were directed to personal accounts with no documented charitable use. Cassie grabbed the podium mic. "This is a mistake. There's been a terrible mistake. I can explain, Mrs. Hartley." Noah didn't raise his voice. "These findings have been submitted to our legal team and the appropriate regulatory bodies. This is not a debate. This is a disclosure." Phones came out. The blue glow of screens spread across the audience like a wave. Cassie turned to the crowd, looking for allies, looking for anyone. Her eyes found a man in the 3rd row, Gerald Price, the one who had written her a recommendation letter, the one who had called her a pillar of the philanthropic community. Gerald took his glasses off, folded them, looked down at his lap. Then, from the back of the room, a voice, "Mom." Ethan stood near the exit. He was wearing a wrinkled dress shirt. His hair was uncombed. He looked like he hadn't slept. "Ethan." Cassie's voice cracked for the first time. "Ethan, tell them this is a misunderstanding." He walked down the center aisle. Every head turned. The live stream cameras followed him. He stopped 10 feet from the stage. "I found the laptop, Mom." Cassie went still. It was in the storage unit, in a box labeled holiday decorations. Lena's laptop, with her files, her proposal, her name on every page. The room was so quiet I could hear the champagne bubbles in someone's glass. "That work was hers," Ethan said. "It was always hers, and I should have said that 2 years ago." Cassie's mouth opened. Nothing came out. The projection screen behind her still showed the side-by-side comparison. Her name on the right, mine on the left. She looked out at 600 faces, 300 more watching online. No one was smiling. No one was nodding. The woman in the front row had stopped taking notes. Cassie set the microphone down. The thud echoed through the speakers. She walked off the stage. No one followed her. No one called her name. I stood on the balcony and watched her cross the lobby alone. Her heels echoed in the empty marble hallway. She pushed through the glass doors and disappeared into the street. Her phone was already ringing. I couldn't hear the words, but I knew what they were. Gerald Price withdrawing his recommendation, the charity board dissolving their partnership, the event coordinator removing her from next year's list. One by one, the threads that held Cassie Hartley's world together were being cut, not by me, by the truth. Chapter 10 earned. 3 months later, the dust settled. Cassie Hartley was not arrested. She was something worse, irrelevant. The fake nonprofit was shut down. An investigation found that $120,000 had been funneled through personal accounts over 2 years. Civil penalties were filed. The details were public. Her friends stopped calling. Not all at once. Slowly. A birthday party she wasn't invited to. A charity lunch where her seat was given to someone else. A Christmas card list that no longer included her name. She sold the Short Hills house. The big one with the mahogany table and the sprinklers that came on at 2 in the morning. It went for less than she owed. I heard she moved to a condo in Edison. Small, 1 bedroom, no dining room to host Thanksgiving. Gerald Price published a short statement retracting his recommendation. 4 sentences. Polite. Devastating. The internet did the rest. Ethan and I met for coffee on a Saturday in January. A diner in Hoboken. The same neighborhood where Nova Pay started, above a dry cleaner. He looked different, thinner, tired, but his eyes were clearer than I'd ever seen them. I found the laptop in October, he said. He wrapped both hands around his coffee cup. Before the gala, I sat with it for 2 weeks. I opened every file, read every page. The waitress refilled my water. A truck rumbled past the window. I knew it was yours, Ethan continued. I think I always knew. I just didn't want to believe that my mom could do that. You could have told me in October. I know. You waited until 600 people were watching. He looked at his cup. I needed them to hear it. Because if I told you in private, Mom would have found a way to spin it. She always does. She always did. I didn't argue with that. Because he was right. I'm not asking for forgiveness, he said. I don't deserve it. Not yet. I just wanted you to know that I see it now. All of it. The driveway, the silence, the years you lost. I looked at him across that diner table. The man I'd married. The man who had stared at his napkin while his mother dismantled my life. I didn't hate him. I didn't love him either. I felt something in between. Something quiet and honest that didn't have a name yet. Ethan. Yeah, I'm not coming back. He nodded. Slowly, like he'd already known. But I don't want to be your enemy either. He almost smiled. That's more than I deserve. We finished our coffee. He paid. I let him. We walked out into the January cold and stood on the sidewalk for a moment, breath clouding in the air between us. He went left. I went right. That evening, I sat at my desk at Nova Pay, the real desk, the big one, not the folding table. I opened my drawer. Inside, wrapped in tissue paper, was a gold business card case. Cassie had thrown it at me during that Thanksgiving argument. This is what a real professional carries, she'd said. But I suppose you wouldn't know. I'd kept it for 2 years. Carried it from Rose's couch to the garage to the dry cleaner office to this corner suite. I didn't use it. I didn't throw it away. It just sat in my drawer like a splinter I couldn't reach. I opened the case. Inside were 2 of Cassie's old business cards. Cassie Hartley, philanthropist, community leader. I took them out, held them over the trash can, let them fall. Then I closed the empty case, walked to the lobby, and placed it in the company donation box, the one we use to collect supplies for women's shelters. An empty gold case, no name inside, no title, no power, just a thing someone once used to make herself feel bigger than she was. I went back to my desk, Maya had left a sticky note on my monitor. New quarter, new goals. Lunch tomorrow? I picked up a pen and wrote underneath yes. Tacos. The office was quiet. The city hummed 47 floors below. My computer screen glowed with next quarter's projections. I pulled a fresh business card from my top drawer. The new ones. Simple white. Small font. Lena Morales. And underneath, in letters so small you'd have to look twice. Earned, not inherited. I set it on the desk and went home.
Thanks for listening. I hope this gave your heart a quiet moment to rest. See you next time.